Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode we're going to continue along with our world here. I went ahead and did a few things. As you can notice, this is missing here. All the chests are missing. I took those away because we have the thing now. The storage compartment here. I did go ahead and... what else did I do in between episodes? I mined a lot. Not a lot, but I did do some mining. I did create some white lamps for what I did in between episodes. But so what I did between episodes is I went ahead and made our area down here. So it is a work in progress, so things could change. I don't really have an idea of what I want to do as of the layout yet, but I sort of did a basic layout. So I went ahead and made this here. So like there, I moved over the ender or the enchanter, the anvil, and yeah, this is what I'm working with so far. So what I have planned for this, I have this one laid out already here. So I made it sort of look like a factory. That's why I named it factory up top. I'm thinking about doing like a factory look like this with the laboratory blocks and factory blocks from chisel. So what I have this mined out for is there's actually a mod where you can make an elevator, and I was thinking of making an elevator, a 3x3 elevator where the whole platform goes down to the bottom, and then that can take us to the floors that we're going to. So I was thinking like this one we can go down and we can have like most of our machines and everything and power generation. We can use this one to go up and out for our solar generation eventually. And then we might be using this one for something a little different. Like I said, it's a work in progress, so it's going to take a little bit to get complete use out of everything. But yeah, let me go through what blocks I used. So these are all factory blocks from chisel. They're very simple to make. Let me go and show you the recipe here. If I can spell block, there we go. Okay, so the factory block, like I said, it's very simple. 4 stone, 4 iron gives you 32. And then you just use the chisel. I'll grab it out of here. So if you grab the chisel, you place a factory block up in here, it gives you a bunch of options. It gives you all of these options here. So that's how I was able to get the massive hexagonal plating for the walling. I was able to get this the fan. You don't get to choose where the fan goes. You sort of just place the block and then you have to go a 3x3 of where that block is. So this center one happened to be right in the center of this wall, so it worked perfect. That's why I did it on the 2 over here. But for this wall, the fan would have been over here. It would have been off-centered, and it would have drove me insane. So I just chose a wireframe just so it looks a little bit like grates. Not the best looking, but it'll do for now. And then the floor and ceiling, they're not factory blocks. They're actually laboratory blocks. So if I show you those real quick just for the recipe. So it's 8 stone and 1 nether quartz for 8 of them. And it's the same idea here. You just right click the chisel, you place them up here, and it gives you all the options. Same ones as these here. So the ceiling is a screen. As you can see, it has like, it's all real smooth and has the little bit of a line, like a glare-ish lines to it. And then the floor is the large tiles. And I used the inverted white lamp. Let me go ahead and show you that here also. I just want to show you guys the recipes for stuff that I did in between episodes. So it's 6 glass panes, not planes. 1 redstone torch and 2 white alumer. I think it's alumer. So it's just 2 glowstone and 2 bone meal basically to give you 1. So I made those. If you do hit F7 on your keyboard, let me go out here and show you exactly what it does. As you can see this yellow dot here, that means that there's light there, but you're pushing the boundary for where mobs can spawn. So that's why you want to make sure that it's all, because if I place a torch here, the yellow goes away. If I place it here, it goes away. So that's what I used for down here. Let me turn that off because it gives you an FPS drop. I used that down here to get the best lighting possible. Now I could have placed one here or here, just to get rid of those dark spots, but I did as little as possible to get it as, so there's no way mobs can spawn down here basically, because at the time I didn't have the glowstone. I had to go to the nether, make another trip. I had to do a bunch of things like that. So but as you can see, this block right here is a different color, a different pattern, different everything. It's an elevator block. So let me go ahead and show you the recipe for that. You can get ones that you rotate. I don't care for them because whenever, depending on where you're looking, so if I'm looking this way and I use the elevator block, when I get to the bottom, I'll be facing the same way. You can do a rotating one where you rotate 90 degrees, but I don't really care for it. So the elevator, it's just 8 wool and an ender pearl, and you do have to have a 2 minimum. So if I was to place one above me and hit spacebar on the elevator block, it would teleport me to the top one. In this case, if you hit shift, it takes you down. So I have this down here. What I'm going to be using this for is my refined storage area. So here's the controller. I shouldn't have done that because it's stone. I'm going to be changing the floor here to something different so I don't have to worry about breaking the stone. But I have the flux point underneath of it to power it. And then I have the cables running up through the ceiling and walls over to our disk drive. And I did, in between episodes, I did make 3 64Ks. It did take a little bit of time and a lot of resources, but I was able to make 3. So we have all of the stuff that we had so far. It only took up 13.3 of the 194,000, so we're good for right now. Eventually, we will need to boost that up a little bit, but I figured have all the storage bays and disk drives down here out of the way, and we don't have to worry about space. This over here is the screen controller from RF Tools. I'll go ahead and show you the recipe. I mean, you could look it up, but I'll show you the recipe real quick. Just 3 glass, 4 redstone, ender pearl, and a machine frame. So 2 blue dye, 2 lapis, 2 gold nuggets, and 4 iron to make one of those. So what the screen controller is for is when you place one of the screens. Wrong way. Here we go. So this is actually a screen here. If I was to use the wrench and right click it, it would show a black background. You can make it a transparent screen, or you can't. So if I shift right click, I got a bunch of text screen modules in here. And the reason I have a bunch in there is if I was to place just one, the word would be at the top. So I had to place enough in there to bring it down to center. I believe it's to bring it down to center. So every screen that you place, it won't have anything it won't work unless you place one of these screen controllers, and then you have to hit scan, and it'll pick up your connected screens. So you do have to have a screen controller for those screens. So yeah, that's basically everything I did in between episodes. I didn't really do too much except for just build this area out. I did use the hammer with a 5x5 to mine it out, so it is 5 high. And yeah, so basically that's what I did so far. Like I said, I want to go ahead and do the elevator here just to get it working. We might end up doing that right like this episode, and that should take up a majority of time because it's a very lengthy process actually. Because there's a lot of trial and error for that mod because I don't know a lot about it. I'm gonna go down and replace the stone. I don't really know a lot about it, so there's going to be a lot of trial and error for now. But, yeah, I believe that's everything I did. That's not full. Eventually, we will get rid of the chest. Oh, that's why it's not full. Eventually, we will get rid of the chest, and we can, and we'll be using an ender chest to bring the items back, because I think that's going to be the quickest way to do it. Let's do that. Turn off all of those. Let's just go ahead and make a flux point. I think it's the flux point. And the reason I want to make one of those is so I don't have to keep taking this thing over. So let's go back down to the factory. For now, it is going to be annoying going back down to this crafting grid to make anything that we need. But I can make a wireless one where I can basically use it from wherever I'm at within a certain distance. And we will be making that shortly as well, next few episodes, just so we don't have to keep rolling it back. Okay, so if I place... Get rid of that, place that there. Here's the network. Bing. That should have power. There we go. And just like that, that's going to be powered for until we run out of lava or power, I guess. So that takes care of that. I did make another backpack that's currently in the system. I did that because I had all the stuff from our mods in one backpack, and when I went mining, I didn't want to sit there for a little bit trying to get everything else to go with it. So I made another one just to go mining with. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into this mod here for the elevator. I don't know how far I want to go down. I mean, that should be fine. I mean, that's high enough. There's definitely no way I should hit anything underground here. But I'm most likely going to mine out that way. Just so when I go down that one, I go that way. This one, I go that way and up. just so there's no way I can go under it and run into each other, because I really don't want basically the same design downstairs and each elevator go to the same place. I think that'd be kind of dumb, to be honest. I don't usually do this, like separate everything. Like I usually have one giant room like this, and I sort of just throw everything in here. But I sort of want to mix everything up, do something new, spend a little bit more time on designing things instead of just hurry up and busting through all the mods. So let's get into this. What is the mod actually called here? Thut's Elevators. Like I said, I'm fairly new to this mod, so this may be a little bit of a trial and error here. So there is only 3 blocks. You have the elevator, you have a controller block, and then you have a device linker. So the device linker is used to link the elevator to the controller block, and then the controller block is used just so you can hit the buttons like a normal elevator. If you want to go to floor 1, 2, 3, 4, you can just hit those, and it takes you right to that floor. So we will need basically those, and I believe you need an elevator block for each block that you're going to be using the elevator. So we need a total of 9. So let's go ahead and make the materials that we need, that we should need, hopefully, if I know what I'm doing here. So we should only need 1 device linker. We should need 9 of these. And then we should need 2 controller blocks. The reason for 2 is that the controller block doesn't move with the elevator, I don't think. You might be able to, but I'm not 100%. I don't think it does. So I'm just going to have one on the main floor here, and then I'm going to place another one down on the bottom so I can press it, go back up, press it, go back down. So I'm going to need 2 of these. And that should be everything we need. And I believe I can make the elevator floor out of whatever I want. And it consumes the elevator blocks and places it on like inside of them, and it makes it all 1 block. So I want to go ahead and decide what I want to make this here. I was thinking glass, but what I might do is, however high we make this down here, I was thinking about making it glass so when you're coming down you can see what you're like inside of it. I was thinking about doing that. That would be actually pretty cool. Yeah, we could do that. And then we can mine out these the blocks here on the walls and stuff, and sort of figure out a block. But let's go ahead and get this rolling here. So what do we want to make the ground or the floor of the elevator? We could use something from chisel. So if I go to chisel, there's a bunch of blocks here. Do I go with one of these, like a white floor? But I don't know if I want to use something that bright. That doesn't look convenient, I should say. Cloud, no. I don't want it to be super, super, super colorful, but at the same time, I don't want it to be just a plain floor, you know what I mean? I don't want anything from like a hazard block or anything. What are these? Futura blocks. No. What do we want the floor to be? We could do a cool wood design. I wonder if we can use a glowstone block in the center. Oh, there's glowstone right there. So if we do a glowstone block in the middle, and then we place, say, I don't know. There's a lot of different options. Oh, I like that. Let's go with this. What is this? Oh, that's just stone? I like it. I know we don't need 32, but it's better to have enough than not enough. Learn how to spell. Okay, so if I go like this, click that, and boof, I got 32. That's the wrong way. Okay, so I do this. That looked a lot better in the picture. You know what? It'll work. It'll work, right? It'll work. Okay, so let me place these. That one can go. It looks odd. Place it there. Yeah, I like that better. Let me get rid of that. Now, if I wanted to go to that floor, I'd be standing here, so it would be this block. If I do the same design for down there, it'd be back another one. So let me do this, this, there. Place that there for now. Okay. So place that back there. Let's do it here. So I right click that corner block, and as you can see down here in the text, it says set first corner of the elevator block to that position. And now if I click over to here, and if I right click again, never mind, let's set the first one again. I shift right click? Aha, shift right click. So now if I look at the block, as you can see up in the top, I don't know why, but when I say look at the top, I point with my finger on my screen like you could see what I'm doing. I don't know, but if you look up at the top where it says elevator and then Thut's elevator, you can see like the blocks that we have here are actually rotating up there, so it looks like it did work. I'm hoping that the glowstone works as well. So if we right click here, and then right click, as you can see, there's a lot of floors. If you shift right click one, maybe this elevator is owned by me. Yeah, I know. I shift right click. Elevate. Okay, so once you create the elevator, you have to shift right click to bind the elevator to the linker. And now I should be able to just click one. Shift right click, number one. So this is floor one. And if I want to go to floor two, this is gonna be fun. We'll figure it out. Oh boy. Gotta reconnect. It's an invisible block. Since I'm playing on a server, sometimes there's server lag because if my PC's CPU usage is too high, it'll give me an invisible block where you can't go through it, you can't walk through it. This is gonna take a little bit of a... Oh, that actually worked a lot quicker. Hopefully I don't get the error where I have to shut down my entire game. Please don't give me the error where I have to shut down my game. Please, please, please. Yeah, it's not responding. Like I said, the modded Minecraft is very, very computer heavy, so definitely make sure if you are playing that you have a somewhat decent PC. Okay, so now we got down here. Let me click this, and then if I shift right click to to 2, this is set to floor 2. So now I have to see exactly where this goes to, because there's a chance that it's going to fall short. So if I go ahead and hit 2, it'll call the elevator. Please do it right. Hey, it worked right. Cool, cool, cool. Yep, that's exactly what I wanted. So now if I go ahead and press 1, bingo. So yeah, that's a cool way to make an elevator. Basically, instead of making it with this block here, where you just teleport. I mean, I do like the elevator blocks. Don't get me wrong. I love the elevator blocks. I've been using them for a very long time, but it's like visually, this looks better than this. My opinion. My opinion. Some people like simplistic, where they just go, I'm where I have to go. I don't have to worry about no elevator waiting. But me, I like this idea a little bit better. I mean, would I prefer elevator music to play every time I press it? Or when I'm standing in it? I mean, I'm not going to say no. But I can set this up to go wherever I want. So if I wanted to set another one of these, say floor, just for convenience, say I just do 10, because I know I'm never going to do 10 floors on one elevator. Say I wanted to set it to level 10, I could have this take me all the way down to my thing for a mine. So instead of flying down or running down steps or doing anything like that, I could just have an elevator, just hit 10, and it takes me all the way down. So, I mean, there is some benefits to this. Like I said, visually, it just looks 10 times better than a single block. And I like the idea of having a separate mod also, instead of only utilizing one. But yeah, so that is basically everything you need to know for Thut's elevator. Like I said, it's a very, very interesting mod, very cool mod. I don't know how old the mod is, because I used to play Minecraft a lot, and like Feed the Beast, Monster, and the Revelations, I've been, this has to be like my 8th world maybe, and I still don't know everything, because like I said, I sort of get tunnel vision, and I go from doing this to mobs. Get back up here. To a mob spawner. I do like 4 or 5 mob spawners, and then from there I let the server run for a few days. I come back, I mine for a day or two, and when I mine for a day or two, I mean like a good 6-7 hours straight of mining each day. And then after that, I sort of just go into power generation, ore generation, draconic evolution, and that's it. Like, that's basically where I call it. So I sort of want to take things a little bit slower than I usually do. So if I seem like I'm sort of scattered all over the place, it's not intentional. Basically, it's definitely not intentional, because like I said, I usually do a few things and that's it. So I'm sort of all over the place for this series, but I feel like we're getting a little bit more planned out in what we're doing, so it seems a little bit better. So yeah, this is probably going to be our general idea of what all of them are going to look like. Like I said, for this one, I want to take it up for the solar generation, because I think if I took that up and I sort of just did like a glass wall all the way up to, say, like, I don't know, like here, and then I did my solar generation up here and make like the platform, like make everything glass, make everything out of glass, so it looks a little bit cool. Not a little bit cool, that made absolutely no sense, but I think it would look pretty cool up here. Have a glass platform, have a obviously you got to throw some lights in there, some lamps, because I like the white lamps. They're sort of like just a white light basically. But maybe throw a couple of those up here and make just a glass walkway, and that should be, and it's gonna be transparent, sort of like this here, so it's gonna look like nothing up there except for the edge. It's gonna look like a steel rail, and we could place all of our solar panels up there for generation, just so it's not underground. And I mean, obviously it can't be underground because it has to see the sun, but yeah, so that's sort of like the general idea I have for the different rooms and the different mods. So each floor maybe could be a different mod. Just maybe mine it out a little bit and have each floor a different mod. Like maybe have this one for power generation, and then have this one for our ore processing, our ore generation, maybe our draconic evolution power storage, things like that. And then like this main area is basically just going to be this, like a crafting grid. Because I don't want everything to be in one room, because like I said, that's what I usually go into. So it has been a little bit of a ramble session here, but I'm just trying to get an idea of what I want to do here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call the episode there. I feel like we did. I feel like we went ahead and did enough for this episode. I don't want to run it too long like the previous episodes. Like I said, I want to stay around a 20 to 25 minute range. I feel like that's the best for the viewers, because I don't want to sit here for an hour and watch a video. I'm sure you guys don't either, but yeah, so like I said, that's going to be it for the elevators. So feel free to like, subscribe, and also ring the notification bell so you're notified when the next video goes live. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it there. So I will catch you guys in the next one.